Глобаша.
Groovers, just bopping away here in my own brain. Welcome. The beautiful people are rolling in. Francesca, hi. Yeah, could you hit the thumbs up, Groovers? Cement Shoes, good to see you, mate. How you doing? Just a little warning before I kick off with this live. The issue I had with my car back in March, the same week I dislocated my kneecap and my house started leaking, the same issues happened again with my car. So my entire day, Francesca has been great company throughout. Got thrown out the window, and I've wanted to do a live about Zav and had one planned for this afternoon, but everything I had planned for the day went out the window. My car is now towed back to where I live, down with my mechanic, who is going to hopefully call me soonish, like in the next hour, I'm hoping, because I have a conference tomorrow. My car is full of stuff to take to the conference, and I'm hoping that they can be fixed, and they may even drop the car home for me. Fingers crossed. Otherwise, I've got a bit of a walk ahead of me. So I may have to take a call during the live, and it might be a two-part reaction to Zav's return to YouTube. But yeah, that's just where I'm at. So if the phone suddenly starts ringing and I'm mute, you'll know why. Guess who's back? Ghoul is back. She is back. And many of you already have had a bit of a look. There's a few reaction videos and stuff going around. I wish I had a scrunchie because it's actually really hot today. And I'm overdressed as usual. I'll see if I can just chuck my hair up with this headband. Many of you are aware of her return. There's quite a few creators who are covering it, and rightly so. I always think the more channels that talk about this sort of stuff, the better, because we've all got a lot of crossover with our communities, but we've also got unique members to our communities, and that's why I put in the title. It's a Southern Hemisphere. Yeah, thank you, Francesca, for keeping me company. I appreciate it. We've also got unique community members, and the reason I mentioned the Southern Hemisphere is because of time zones and so on. So I think it's really important that as many people cover things that are happening on YouTube as possible. But there are lots of creators, not lots, but some creators that have covered it, and there's some clips and things like that. I thought about showing a clip channel, but she reacts as well, which is fabulous. But I didn't want to listen to Zav, pause it, react, and then play her, because I'm pretty sure her reaction is going to be very similar to mine. I mean, everyone's reactions are very similar. So, yeah. I just thought of something. Here in Ohio, there was a locally famous TV personality called Guladi. And with her being from Ohio, that would be a funny name for her. It would. Oh, except he wasn't a bad person. Maybe not then. God, people are already bailing. I haven't even started reacting to Zav. And I mean, it's pretty obvious from my description, my title, what we're talking about here today. But they've maybe already heard it. So I'm not going to be reacting to it in minute detail. I'm just going to play bits of it and react and discuss, and hopefully my mechanical call, because if my car can't be fixed, I've got to somehow work out with a couple of hours of business hours left how the fuck I'm going to get a carload of shit to a conference tomorrow without my car. It might involve me hiring a car from the airport, which means I'm going to have to get a friend to run me to the airport to pick up a hire car. And it's going to cost a fucking fortune because a hire for a day is incredibly expensive. Then I've also got to get home from the conference tomorrow. Look, it's all out in the universe at the moment. I've had some good fortune of late. Everything was going so well that I'm not surprised this happened. There's always got to be something that reminds you that life is ups and downs. But yeah, so if I haven't heard from the mechanic by 4, I'm going to start going, okay, unless they're working on it and fixing it. But if they can't fix it today, yeah, it'll be the hire car situation. So anywho, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. We are a community. We are one, but we are many. And from all the lands of YouTube we come. Well, you probably won't want to watch this live then, Cement Shoes, because I'm about to play some of her. And if you can't bring yourself to watch even a second of her, as soon as I play a second, you'll be gone. But yeah, I want to react to it because it would have been a great live to do tonight, and I might end up doing part 2 tonight, depending on how long I'm live now. But I was thinking of a drinking game, you know, like let's take a shot every time she is holding herself accountable for what she did, because she didn't in her apology. And let's take a shot every time she blames somebody else for everything. And let's take 2 shots whenever she shows some humility. And we'd all be naked and drunk and under a table within 10 minutes of the live, I reckon. Oh, you can handle a reaction. Awesome. Also, before I kick off with this reaction, fair use, motherfucker. I know you don't cuss on your channel, Zav, but I do here. I nearly put on my one and only tie-dyed top for this live, but then I thought people would think I was siding with her and defending her, and that's not the case at all. Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, I'm a bit bummed I'm giving her a view doing this reaction, but anyway, who cares? It'd be worth it. All right. You reap what you sow. Now, I have seen a tiny bit of it and was repulsed. We were chatting about it when I drove to town on, was it Tuesday? Monday? Tuesday. We're already our hearts had already sunk with despair knowing how badly she handled this, because her live was 3 days ago, the one that we're going to be looking at. But right from the start, it's cringeworthy. And yeah, I haven't, apart from the clip channel that I listened to a little bit of, I try not to, when I'm going to react to something as well, I try not to watch other creators. I mean, I think with this, most reactions are going to be very similar because everyone was waiting for the return of Zav Girl and hoping to see some humility, some accountability, some growth. Hopefully that sensitivity training is already taking effect. And to have covered the horrible story of her putting the autopsy photos behind the paywall and then also covering the apology, I feel that it's important that I at least wrap up the Zav Girl stuff, unless she ends up being added to the lawsuit about Ryan Upchurch, which I'm kind of surprised she's not already included in that lawsuit. But then why would you sue someone when you know you've got absolutely fuck all chance of getting any money out of them, you know? But she certainly made a lot of money off the Kylie Rodney name. So what do you do with that coin, Zav? Hello. Nice to meet you in a live, Asa. So Asa 0801 Save Horses, yes, Save Horses, has been commenting, and she's a new subscriber. So welcome. And we are live, and we are reacting to Zav Girl. Now I don't know, are you and I engaged in my comment section under AD? So are you true crimey, or is it just AD and that particular story? Like, are you aware of Zav Girl, I guess is what I'm asking. What are they going to sue her for? A gamer chair. One thing that you will never see me sitting on is a gamer chair, ever. And especially one of those ones that's mechanical that rocks backwards and forwards and side to side. Critical K is a gamer, and whenever she talked about it, I'm like, I bet she's got one of those ones. But yeah, I mean, if anyone's in my chat who doesn't know the Zav Girl, okay, not in true crime. No, but obviously you're very passionate about justice for victims' family members and friends who are harassed by YouTubers, aka AD, and what he's done to the rechecks. Yeah, good to have we've got a few new subs. It's great. And they're all just going to love it here because we're lovely. And we're very funny, Asa, so expect a lot of merriment even when we cover true crime. But just to give you a very quick summary, so Zav Girl has been putting out misinformation and making a lot of money off victims' tragedies for quite a long time. And she recently put autopsy photos of Gannon Stalk, an 11-year-old boy who was murdered by his stepmother, Letitia, who's now locked away, key thrown away, in jail. She stays forever. Good riddance. Zav put them on her Patreon behind a $3 paywall, and there was outrage. And she scrutinized these photos, zoomed in on them. We'll talk about some of that stuff, I'm sure, as things go along when we do this reaction. And, yeah, people were horrified. Now, Natasha Cooper did the same thing and didn't cop quite the same amount of scorn, but she should have, in my view. But people they weren't surprised by Natasha, but some people were surprised by Zav, which surprised me because I have known that Zav is a spreader of misinformation for a long time. I actually got blocked on her channel when she was showing a photo of an innocent man who'd been, unfortunately, had the same name as someone who had kidnapped a little girl in Australia. And he was suing media outlets all over the country and overseas for showing his image. And she had it up on her screen, and I pointed it out and said, you might want to take that down. And I pretty much copped a mouthful from her and the mods and got blocked. Or I got timed out, I think. And then afterwards, I went into her comment section and had a massive fight with one of her mods, and I ended up being blocked. I mean, when I say a massive fight, from my perspective, I was just saying it's not okay. And the mod was very shouty and yelled at me a lot, and then I got blocked. And then on top of that, well, yes, I call him doing the dishes with Dave. I'm really wary about covering him, though, because he's got a supporter base that are like armchair detectives, but even more feral, and he's also in Australia. And I don't know if I'm ready to take on his rabid supporters. It's bad enough I'm still dealing with ADs all these years later. Yeah, well, there was nothing illegal about it. But the thing is, with Patreon, you can put stuff up on there for free. She put it behind a paywall. Then everyone got outraged, talked about it a lot in the true crime community and the crama, which I can't stand that word, but it's a cross between crime and drama. Then she put out a community page post that was appalling, deflected, no accountability, and there were thousands of people on there saying, this is fucked up. She took that down. Then she put up an apology video that was appalling, and there was outrage about that as well. And she shut off the comments, and then people had said to her, that's piss weak. Like, if you are going to apologize, the community should be able to respond. So she reopened them. And anyway, 3 days ago, she came back to YouTube and did this live that we're about to react to. So I'm going to whack up the live. Fair use, fair use. Yeah, he is. He's made a mozza from talking about. Does that mean a lot of money? He's made a shitload of money anyway, talking about how much he loves Chris Watts and how he wore one of Chris Watts's tops that Cindy and Ronnie gave him when he visited America. Just checking my phone, his volume is on because I need to hear it if the mechanic calls. I usually silence it when I go live. I've got to do the opposite today. Yeah, wore one of Chris Watts's tops to Shanann's and the girls and baby Nico's grave and filmed it, even though there's a sign that says, please do not film while you're at this site. Vile. Speaking of, let's check out the much anticipated and now sorely disappointed live Return to YouTube by Zav Girl. Up on her panel with her is Juliet AF. A stands for as fuck in the YouTube world, who is her partner. Let's see how they kick it off. I'm anticipating some humility. Let's go. I'm not going to be reacting to 2.5 hours. There's one thing I learned very early on with Zav when I first heard of her, and went, oh, a chick in a gamer chair. How cool. I mean, think of all the people that go live from gamer chairs. Critical K, Zav Girl, Mommy Ramblings, Bullhorn Betty. See, I see passion happening here. But anyway, to be honest, I can't stand gamer chairs anyway, but Mommy Ramblings in a gamer chair is such a weird thing to me. She needs to be in a little crocheted, throw ruggy little armchair with a cigar. Well, not with a cigar, but you know what I mean? Like, I think there's a cutoff age for sitting in a gamer chair too, possibly. Then you have the recliner people, but we'll talk about them another day. So, hey, Lillian. Oh, you trolled her live? Awesome sauce. Yeah, I mean, I could have actually, I could put chat up if I don't make her screen that big. Let me do this again. I'm just not sure if I'm going to. Let me see. No, I wanted to show the chat. Hang on. Got to jump from window to window. This is not an aptitude. This is just the way of the StreamYard world. All righty. Everybody, keep an eye out for Lillian's action. I'm not going to read out lots of chat, but I think it's disappeared. It's good to have it up for a bit of entertainment. Oh, man. Oh, look, I would have ripped her a new one if I'd been awake. I think I might have been at work, actually. Let's see if I refresh this. Her chat's disappeared now. It's there, but only as top chat. And it's buffering. This is very strange. I'll try it. But this is where sharing it and showing chat can be.
Hey, guys.
Can
you hear us?
Hey, guys. Yes, unfortunately, I can. I can hear you. Juliet as fuck was blocking people immediately. I managed to get some jabs in towards the end. Well, I'm going to skip through it. There's no way I'm sitting through 2.5 hours because I can't handle Zav's voice, let alone the insipid words that I know from the little bit I've seen that are going to come out of her mouth. And I don't want to get so angry that when my mechanic rings, I'm like, what? Fuck you. So I'm going to try and say zen. I did light some sandalwood incense in the hallway earlier just to keep me calm. Hey, Kylie. Good to see you, Groover. All right, so let's go. Oh, the one she did last night. All right. I'll have to check that out. Oh, no, I don't want to give her a review. It's bad enough I'm giving her one now. Hey, guys. I know, and I don't know, guys. I'm not sure, guys. All right. So this is the first few seconds of her return to YouTube, and we're expecting some humility, some remorse, a bit of accountability. She's doing she was looking into sensitivity training, so maybe a little bit of that at the start as well. Let's see how we go.
Juliet, say something. See if
oh, yeah, I'm here. Hey, everyone.
Hey.
Yeah, it's saying, I just had a little thing pop up saying experiencing interruptions, find out why. I think I'm going to have to hide the chat. I think I'm going to have to hide the chat. We're still buffering. Hang on.
I don't even know how to do this anymore.
Oh, a giggle. All right, we're kicking off with a giggle. Awesome. It's buffering. You take your phone call. Ever since I opened chat, it's now buffering. Let me see if I can go onto a better Wi-Fi. Oh, my other Wi-Fi is not even showing. Huh. No, I've got 2 bars. It's not great, but I'm back. Sorry, guys. That was all a bit weird. Is she striking me? No, it was a Wi-Fi issue. I think I've moved on to, I jumped off 5G and went back to my old 4G, and it seems to be working now. So, oh no, it's a great thumbnail. Thank you for noticing that, Cement Juice. I was so proud of that. Oh, yes. I thought, yeah, but I can feel brain cells dying in my brain while I listen to Zav now. AD got a defamation advertisement from Battery Exhausted. I will look into that too. I'm not quite sure. Battery Exhausted, not Bullhorn Betty. It's Battery. Oh, Battery Exhausted. Is that the guy that's played me reacting to Armchair Detective? Hello. We're still here. And we haven't moved since you left. All right, let's go with this. Let's go. So they're giggling. She's forgotten how to do it. It's been a whole 8 days and she can't remember. Someone who used to do 12-hour lives has already forgotten. Bullshit. They're trying to be all, hi, we're back. We can see through you. Not how I thought you'd start your life. Not 1 ounce of humility.
I missed you guys.
We didn't miss you. Oh, it's buffering again. Awesome. Great. I fixed it all and now we're buffering again. Yeah, well, I might actually, I might go to Tragedy Pimps Exposed and use her video because she won't. Okay. Now my entire computer screen's gone black. What the fuck? I've got the black screen of death. I don't even know if you guys can still see me. Okay. What the hell? I can't even open up. Now Chrome is playing up.
What are you doing? Thanks for coming.
Yeah, thank you guys. You're the best.
That Juju, what do you guys reckon?
Am I on? Okay, because I have my YouTube site up and it just now went on now.
Am I on? Well, I wasn't several times. You reckon she will strike? I'll fight it. I'll send her my response on my legal letterhead. Hey, Humanimal. Yes, I am live. I do want to do another live, Humanimal, just on that comment you left under my on my community page the other day about the lawsuit, the Rodney one, the Rodney dad and grandfather going after Ryan Upchurch. There's something I've been researching for a while, which is there's a lot of discussion about why social media platforms should also be held liable for the crap that goes on their platforms. Nothing's come into fruition yet, but it's been strongly debated. And the little comment that you made, Humanimal, was I've started researching that. But yeah, I mean, imagine if, say, for example, Zav having Ryan up there. Now, she said a lot of irresponsible, horrible things during Kylie Rodney too, and spread a lot of misinformation as well. So you could go after her in her own right. But say it was just someone hosting a panel and they've got an upchurch sitting up there saying Kylie Rodney wasn't even a real person. You know, down the track, is there going to be some sort of vicarious liability because you are the person that had the platform where that misinformation was spread? I can't see that happening because it would be unbelievably difficult. Creators would basically just have to, as soon as somebody said something that they believe was misinformation, they just have to boot them off. Can you imagine anyone on the US channels, you know, with the full Brady Bunch screens? I mean, Queen Bee puts the Brady Bunch up and then fucks off and does the shopping. She's not around to flick them off if they start spreading misinformation. But the possibility of platforms being held liable as well really interests me, and I hope it happens because YouTube's a bit negligent. There are other, I mean, Facebook is the other opposite. They're the opposite end of the scale because they have been so heavily scrutinized. They are like insane, and they put you in Facebook jail for doing the tiniest thing. But YouTube has an algorithm that picks up misinformation. Well, topics where there's a lot of misinformation, irrespective of whether you're saying all this misinformation is bullshit or you're spreading it, you still get a warning, which is what happened to me when I was debunking this whole hashtag sudden death bullshit. She removed 7 of her videos. Well, fortunately, there are direct links to all of the different YouTube-y things, and there's no way they've disappeared for good as far as court processes go. So, oh, yeah, no, I'm going to talk about her. She's the biggest enabler I've ever heard. That's why I wanted to react to this, mainly. You got in Facebook jail. Exactly. No, well, Kim Animal, that's fair enough, but I'm one step ahead of you in that I'm actually researching that, and I would love there to be a time, but I think it's bad. Like, I mean, even no one would have a panel ever again, but it depends. Like, if she's also weighed into it, which she did, but I don't see the point in them adding her because how are they going to get any money out of her? I mean, the money she made off their deceased daughter would be long gone by now. She would have spent all of that on everything except a new gamer chair. All right, let's keep reacting. And like I said, my mechanic, please call. If my mechanic hasn't called by 3:30, I'm going to be like, which is just over half an hour from now, I'm going to be like, because I'm going to have a very small window of opportunity to work out how am I A, going to get to town tomorrow, B, with a car full of stuff for a conference, C, get home from the conference tomorrow night. So, yeah, I'll probably have to, if they haven't called by 3:30, end this live and do it in a second part because I want to call them and at least say what's going on. Yeah. More tie-dye. I know, I wish it's really warm in here. The sun's beaming in and I'm this is only a cotton top, but it's kind of a wintry one. But yeah, I was going to put tie-dye on, and then I thought people would walk in and go, oh no, it's a Zav supporter. It was more going to be an irony thing. But anyway, let's go. Not brave enough to cam up either because, you know, God forbid you show your face and people can detect if you're honest or not. We haven't got very far, guys. 25 seconds. Here we go.
Now.
Yeah, you have to refresh it apparently, but it used to not do that, I think.
Okay, cool.
Look at her playing dumb with her partner too, like her girlfriend. Ugh. Couldn't stand it. I couldn't stand it. It'd be like, make a fucking decision.
So what's up, everybody? What's been going on in the true crime world the last few weeks?
Anything juicy? Any gossip?
Yeah.
Wow. That's where everyone watched her and went, are you fucking kidding us? Oh, Facebook true crime would be incredibly difficult. Horses are beautiful. I grew up, my grandparents had a horse farm. My dad had horse races. I race horses. I know a lot about the GG. Juliet as fuck goes into comment section saying anyone still bothering you about this is just sick and obsessed. babe. Well, you know about that. Yeah, the enabling from Juliet's one of the things I really want to point out. Yeah, I heard that she was a subscriber. Anywho, let's keep going. Otherwise, I really want to react. You guys distract me so much. I've got to sit over there and react for a little while because otherwise I won't even get to the 5-minute mark. And I'd love to try and do that in the next hour. Here we go.
Oh my god. Hi, crime dog.
Just how fucking tasteless was that? Any gossip, any juicy news in the true crime world in the last 2 weeks, other than Zav Girl putting autopsy photos behind a $3 paywall on Patreon? Yeah, there's a bit more than that. Natasha did it too. So did Annie Elise, 10 to Life, but that got swept under the carpet by her defenders. What else? We've had a lot going on. But out of all of them, Zav, yours is the one that everyone's still... Oh, we had Heels in the Air, the racist stuff. Yours is the worst still. But you just sit up there with your girlfriend giggling like a pair of idiots, okay?
Oh, hey, Petty Dave. Adelina, thanks for coming.
Hey, Ashley.
Where's Ashley?
Let's just say hi to
Oh, Ashley. There you are, Ashley. Princess Megan.
the remaining 11 subscribers I have who give a fuck about me because whatever her figures are now, 87,000, most of them are not active. When you've got that many subscribers, but you're not getting like 10, 15, 20,000 views, most of your subscribers are not active.
You know, Elsa. Wow, thank you guys for...
I mean, even on my channel, I mean, I should have really like with the, what have I got? 700 and something now, 57 something. You know, I don't have 200 people watching because I don't have 200 active subscribers, but the ones I have, I love.
comment. I wasn't even... I was like, man, I wasn't even knowing if anybody would actually show up.
I'm actually horrified that anyone did show up.
Like, anybody gonna come? But I'm glad. I missed you guys. I missed true crime.
We haven't missed you not doing true crime.
But yeah, I just took a few weeks off. Got to see Juliet.
Didn't do any sensitivity training clearly because you would have started with a much more humble Zav Girl at the start of this, for sure.
A few times. That was nice. How many of you guys have been following? I know it's basically over. She's going to be getting sentenced in September, the end of September, I believe. But how many of you watched the Taylor Business trial?
And look at that, straight into some, just, you know, that's it, done. We've had a giggle. I've told everyone, and I've had a lovely, lovely couple of weeks catching up with my girlfriend. You don't have to apologize, Humanimal. I'm the one that gets easily distracted. There were 64 people in her chat last night and 20 mods. 20 mods. Yep, giggling like absolute wankers and no remorse at all. How lovely to be home early from work. But Humanimal, no, please chat. I've just got to be a bit more but yeah, the start of this was just so terrible. And then I'm just going to randomly jump. I want to get a bit further through because what happens next is little misinformation over here. Zav Girl starts saying they're going to be exposing Brian Enton because he's not a nice person and he spreads misinformation. Bit ironic coming from you. It's unbelievable. I really think she's done on YouTube, and this hasn't helped her again. How can someone be so fucking clueless? Like, here's a tip, Zav. Read your comments. Stop listening to Juliet because for some reason Juliet thinks your version of events and your stance on this is perfectly fine, and it just clearly isn't. You can't have thousands of comments under your apology, your community post, and probably these lives and so on, all saying the same thing, and you're listening to your enabling girlfriend and your little handful of subscribers. Like, pay attention. Same with you, Heels in the Air. I'm really fascinated with the Heels stuff. I've got pretty firm views on it. I'm not allowed to decide what isn't racist because I'm a white. Hello, Moogie. I'm a white person. I have experience with racism in China. It's really good to go to a country where they hate white people just so you get a taste of what it's like. It's fucking horrible. But I've only had a taste of it. It's not my place to decide what is or isn't. So I've been listening to people who are more than entitled to be deciding whether or not it's racist. But besides all of that, heels. Lots of people have pointed out, including me numerous times, you're not good with your words. Write something. Now, I know we all got shitty with Zav writing her apology, but you need to write your little bullet points and go through them bang, 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 because you bounce all over the place. And I know what you're trying to say, and I also know things that you could be saying. But because you go off on these bloody segues and then you never come back and tie them off like a professional comedian would do, not that I'm saying you should be a comedian, but you don't segue out and then segue back in like Billy Connolly does brilliantly. Starts a joke at the start of the show, goes off on a tangent, has no idea what he's going to talk about, wraps up the show with the punchline from the first joke. Brilliant. But you need to bring it back in. You need to return to where you segued. Write it down. Even recording something probably would have been better. But the problem is you're not listening to the people telling you to do this. And it's the same with Zav. Like, pay attention. I pay attention to my comments all the time, whether they're good or bad. How am I going to improve on this platform and as a human being generally if I don't? But anywho, breathe in yellow, breathe out tie-dye.
Because I was watching it here quietly by myself here at home. How many of you guys watched it? It was the quickest trial I've ever seen in my life. Like, I was like, what is going on? Like, I was thinking it would be longer. And since I was like behind watching it,
all right,
I saw this video that says something about verdict because
we're gonna skip through this bit because she's pretending to be interested. You know, I've missed true crime and I want to talk about this case, and her chat probably doesn't even give a fuck about the case she's talking about. But anyway, let's get forward a bit more.
Where do you think you're going?
Stay away. If you come in.
Sorry, I don't have YouTube Premium on this channel. I do on my other channel, the monetized, my bigger channel that doesn't grow, that one. I'm not paying for it on two different channels. But also Zab's monetized, so there's going to be ads. Sorry, guys.
Any closer, we'll jump off from here.
I'll just mute them. Skip. Oh, at least I can skip it.
each Red Bull, coffee, and a mixture inside. Isn't that what that stands for? Yeah, fine. Driver's license revoked.
Oh, great. And here we have her going back through, you know, document, some charges. Does anyone know what that means? How did she get to nearly 100,000 subscribers being this vague all the time? And why did so many people roll in the droves thinking she was the voice of knowledge and authority on this topic, on any crime case that she's covered? I don't know, guys. How did she build such a big following? I mean, I know the vile hashtag team foul play that emerged during Kylie Rodney, because a 16-year-old losing her life, drowning in the dark in her car underwater, terrified, no doubt, wasn't bad enough, but they wanted it to be murder. So they then pursued every teenager that was at that party and her family and fuck knows who else. So there were people on YouTube that were into the whole hashtag team foul play, but how does a creator get to nearly $100,000 when they still, after all these years, what does that mean? I don't know. They do want to be entertained, but how's she entertaining? Seriously, it's frustrating. And this is where people went for like information, you know, they saw her as a trusted source. When do we get, here we go. Let's see if they start talking again about.
Yeah, that might be all right. I don't know. Maybe not though.
Oh, no, they're looking on a relative's Facebook page. Of course they are. That Shah business family. Of course they would be. Come on, I need to get to the enabling shit.
I did them for all three, but most of them were pretty much all the same. You know, there might be a few like things that weren't in the courts that were in that, or like that were in that weren't in the courts, but they were all kind of the same type of
They
thing.
have very low standards. Hey, Aussie Tad.
All of them. So that's
Aussie, we're just reacting to Zav's return to YouTube, doing a live 3 days ago and giggling at the start with her girlfriend Juliet. Giggling, going, what's the gossip? What's been happening in the true crime community for the last 2 weeks? Anything juicy? Ha ha ha, basically. That's what we're doing. We're reacting to clearly Zav, who hasn't attended any sensitivity training yet, because no humility. But I really want to get to her and Juliet saying they're going to expose Brian Enton, because Brian Enton was the one that exposed Zav on mainstream media for being a horrible person, spreading misinformation, even though that's Zav's specialty.
pretty interesting stuff. You back? Yay!
Yay!
Here's a couple
Yay!
more pictures of yeah, so we're gonna do, hold on one second. Let's do a couple of these pictures from, because there's some, oh man, like look, her laughing. It's just so weird.
Oh, like you. Like you. I mean, that was a weird trial, don't get me wrong, but isn't it funny she's saying, look at her laughing? I mean, it's not called a laugh in court. It's also not called a laugh when you finally come back to YouTube and go live after you've been called out by the planet, pretty much. Anyone that knows anything about YouTube true crime knew your story. How did you start your first live? Back giggling with your girlfriend. What's been going on YouTube? Any juicy gossip? All right, I'm about get ready. Grab a mega pint. Grab snacks. I'm about to ream her. Figuratively. Ugh.
She's sitting there, like in front of her to the left.
Figures.
Yeah, there are. Hold on one second.
I mean, you don't have to show it. I'm just saying, like
okay.
it shows a little more than that one, I guess. But that was where it just didn't feel.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to find the other one, but here's one, like, you know, hurt somebody, there would be more like things to see.
Yeah, even for a crazy person, there would. Yeah, something. See, it might be shorter, but it'll be there.
I was looking at it wrong. I mean, maybe I'm not wrong on some occasions, but I was looking at it because of that she seemed crazy, because she just came out of.
She sounds more and more like a 14-year-old gamer boy to me too.
Nowhere.
Yeah, I get.
I do want to address some things, and like,
here we go.
I wanted to do. I would love to do.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Open panel, but I am a little afraid, just because I'm afraid of like just trolls coming in to like ruin the live stream.
Be afraid. Be very afraid. Please do an open panel and let people jump up and express how they feel about what you did, Zav. And for the record, unlike Juliet as fuck, the people that jump up and have issues with what you did are not trolls. They're people that had issues with what you did. And as for ruining the live, what about the lives you're ruining because of how you handle your true crime cases on your channel? Did you think about the lives you've actually impacted? Have you spared a thought for the innocent guy in Australia, Terence Kelly, whose photo you put up, even though he was already suing media outlets in Australia and around the world for showing his image? Because unfortunately for him, he shared the same name as the guy who did abduct Cleo Smith. Did you give a fuck about him? He literally was in hospital with his partner giving birth to their first child when you were doing that, or you just had the baby. You reckon that was great timing? How do you feel about the lives of all of the kids in Truckee that you fucked with, including one family that actually had to leave Truckee because of how much harassment they were copying, and the fact that so many of those kids now are forever stained by you and your mistruths? Anytime anyone punches their name into Google, they're going to see you popping up, connecting them to Kylie's murder. And how do you feel about Gannon's family, who were absolutely horrified at you doing what you did and putting his autopsy photos, and not just putting his autopsy photos behind a paywall, but zooming in, going, what are those white stringy things, when they were maggots on a severely decomposing child, murdered child, or comparing his teeth in the autopsy photos to the photos of him when he was alive and his mouth, and saying they look different. And then not only did you do that, and it's very different to what was shown in court, and the fact you continue to defend yourself saying, I didn't show anything that wasn't shown in court, the little tiny crooked TV screen in the corner with blurred images, bit different, Zav. But then when all of this came out and Gannon's family found out about it, Gannon's mum said the only person who was owed an apology was Gannon, and you didn't even do that. And I pointed that out on your comment section, and you actually came back to me with a response and said, I'm not on social media 24/7. I don't know everything that's going on. I'm sorry, but when you've put a child's autopsy photos behind a paywall and the entire YouTube community is horrified by it, on top of that, you've got mainstream media in America reporting how disgusting it was, don't you think his mother should have been the person you were paying the most attention to? So don't sit here going, boo-hoo, trolls are going to fuck up my life, when you actually fuck with real lives. Let your panel be a pile of shit poured upon you, because you deserve it. And everyone that's spoken about what you did has been coherent, eloquent. Yeah, I mean, a lot of us have felt all kinds of emotions, but we haven't sit here just clamming up our fists and fuck you, Gav. We've actually talked about why what you did was fucked up. People disagreeing with you are not trolls. They're people that have different opinions. And at the moment, the mass opinion is very different to yours. You won't do a live panel because you're a sissy. And Juliet's enabling all of this, and we'll see it in a minute. So you're never going to see what you did as being wrong, because your closest ally is acting the same way that you are, that you didn't do anything wrong. But you did something very, very wrong. In fact, you've done quite a few things very wrong. Let people chat to you and talk about why what you did was inappropriate, because it still hasn't sunk in. And I don't think any amount of sensitivity training is going to make you realize that. Maybe hearing some home truths while you're live with your panel is the way the message might get through to you. I don't know how the 20,000 comments under your community page or apology video, and probably even this one, aren't sinking in, but something has got to make you wake up and realize what you did was bad, and there is no way you can escape that. I'll check out chat because I just went a little bit woody woo, right? Yeah, they are a bit like Amber Heard. No emotional intelligence, no, none. She's simultaneously boring and annoying. The most simultaneously boring and annoying person I've ever seen. True. Yeah, no emotional anything. You're right, Asa. She's shown she can't come back with integrity, grace, with content. Yep, hashtag true colours. True tie-dye colours. You're ready, Teddy, go. She can't have grace. No, not even after an operation. Grunge truck, hello. I don't watch her anymore. She just seems to lack empathy and emotion and accountability. She's another AD. Yeah, there was always something off about it. I mean, I didn't really gravitate towards her back when I don't even know what case she was discovering, but she used to sort of have like a computer like screen that she'd share, and she'd be like slowing down and speeding up audio and stuff. And I was like, oh, so she's kind of like Grey Hughes, but with an audio thing rather than Google Maps. But she's also in a gamer chair and vague, and I don't know, guys. I no, can't deal with it. She's an AD only female. She's very robotic. She gives no fucks at all. Speaking of, gratuitous Sunny shot. Hi, Sunny Bum. No fucks to give. Just shows what an idiot she is. Enton. It's one thing for me to give a 3-minute opinion on something. Banfield says for Tiff to think she'll expose Enton for what she did. Well, no, for what he is, apparently. Apparently, he's not a very nice person. We'll get to that shortly. She is a troll, exactly. She's the sociopath. She hears this, but if Landon and now calling her out wasn't enough, there's no hope for her. I agree entirely, Lillian. Oh, you like my rant? I know, 20 mods and 60 in chat. Can't get over it. That's why my mods are light on this channel, because I mean I did mod you the other day, Cement, because there weren't any other mods around. And ideally at some point you probably will end up being one. But I remember when I first came to YouTube, if I went to a channel and it was a sea of blue and my other channel was very much like that, I'd be a bit reluctant to talk. But yeah, 20 mods and 60 in the chat. And the mods were probably talking the most as well. All right. Hey, Matalirium. Good to see you, Grover. There's a guy called, oh, yeah, I know Cinema Shogun, who said about her selling Gannon's pictures. If she needs the money that bad, why doesn't she become a prostitute? Well, I used to do a joke on stage when I was back in my live performing comedian days. And I talked about all the different careers I've had. I said, at one point I even thought about becoming a prostitute, but then I realized I was having trouble getting a free route. So I didn't like my chances. She's back and she's embarrassing herself already. It's unbelievable. This was 3 days ago. All right. Oh, hey, Bristol. I'm back on the YouTube screen now. So give me a minute.
Not because I'm afraid of, like, you know, you guys having like hard questions or serious questions or coming at me. That's fine. But, you know, people could ruin whole live streams by doing like those bombs and stuff. So I'm a little bit nervous.
Oh, now she's saying it starts off her live with people being able to question her. Originally, it was that the trolls were going to wreck the live, but now she thinks she's going to get porn bombed. No one would be bothered. No one would be bothered porn bombing you. Like, this is why she annoys me, because she plays this dumb, clueless sort of character, and her subscribers have bought it. And yet for most people, you watch this and just go, you're just a lot of words and no sense at all. But she was nearly at 100,000 subs. What the fuck? How?
Nervous, but I do want to answer and clear up some of the misinformation going around about it, because
damn you. You did want to answer. I was thinking, you know, people's opinions and stuff. No, the misinformation. There's no misinformation. The basic facts are there. What you did was disgusting. The end.
Because I'm hearing so much stuff and I just want the whole truth to be out and exactly what happened and what it is. And so
no, because she's just going to go back to like what she did in the apology and say there were no genitals visible, and I didn't show anything that wasn't shown in the court, and there's other channels that have got it on there because they were streaming the court live, and so it's a part of their streams. That's the problem. She's deflecting from the real issue here, which was she put autopsy photos behind a paywall. People had to pay to look at them. On top of that, she actually scrutinized those photos and zoomed in and said some pretty despicable stuff. Like, I mean, she didn't know what maggots were on it. I'm so sorry I have to say this because it makes me feel sick. That poor little child, the fact that there were even photos with that she was sharing. And the fact that she got sent all of this information is still a huge issue for me. But the fact is, it did make it to her, and she didn't choose to not share them. She didn't look at it and go, holy fuck, I've been given everything. I'm actually going to contact the court and say, guys, just so you know, and I'm not going to do anything with it. In fact, I'm going to delete it all. But you sent me the entire file, including autopsy photos. So you might want to be really careful if anyone else requests this stuff. Didn't do that. spent days putting together a video of her acting like she knows what she's looking at and talking about, which she doesn't. She did use the coroner's voice, but apparently spoke over most of that and kept zooming in and doing before and after. Pardon me using that term, but it makes a point. Shots of Gannon, alive and deceased. Charge people to see it when you can put stuff on Patreon for free. Put out an apology that there was no accountability and she was basically blaming everyone else under the sun. So this live where she wants to clear things up, the things she wants to clear up, nobody cares about. What people care about is you got the photos, which is fucked in its own right, and then you chose to share them and charge people to look at them. That's what people are annoyed about, and they are the facts. Doesn't matter what you say about what was shown and what wasn't and whether you made jokes or not. That's all irrelevant. No one cares about that. We care about those simple facts of what you did, Zav. That's it. And I certainly won't be, just so you guys know, I won't react to any further lives on Zav on this topic because I really feel like this is a really good way to wrap it all up. But what a comeback to YouTube. So fucking disappointing and so similar to Diane from Diane's channel when she was called out for stealing from St. Jude's, refused to apologise, said the money was rightfully hers. Let's move on. Let's go. Let's do some lives again. Same exact scenario. Walk with your or talk with your unsubscribed finger if you haven't already. Seriously, like. And anyone that is seen in her chat supporting this and enjoying this, like, I'm not a mummy ramblings that I'm going to send my mods out and go, oh, they subscribe to Zav, but I will be watching you with one eyebrow raised in how could you possibly be a member of this community and also dig that, because that's insulting to me and our community. No, you do what you want to do. Watch whoever you want to watch, but seriously, appalling. Mike McCormick rolling in with love hearts. G'day, USAU. You're going to share the stream. Well, don't get too excited, Humanimal, because I might be going as soon as it's nearly 3:30 and my mechanic hasn't rung, and I really feel they said they were going to call me back really soon and they haven't. And I'm getting nervous because I'm going to have to organise another car if I can't get. And the girl that texted me before, I just put her on standby as a possible Uber in the morning. She's our little local Uber driver. She's camping overnight. No Ubering. So, yeah, I will start to get a little bit anxious when I don't know how the hell I'm going to get a carload of stuff to a conference in the city tomorrow. So, yeah, I mean, I appreciate you sharing it, but it might be over before anyone rolls in. Yep, deflecting, doubling down. Exactly. And it's the choice that gets me going. That's what makes my blood boil, that she received that stuff and didn't do the right thing and go. I mean, look, it's a shock to me that she could even get that, because in Australia you just can't get stuff like that. And as a lawyer and a criminal lawyer in the past, I've had to look at autopsy photos as part of my job, but I have been so – it's weird, but as unpleasant as it is having to do that as part of your job, I've been so grateful that it's not stuff that's available to the public because of how graphic and how much it sticks with you and how sad it is. You know, there's no dignity in death at all, and especially if you're a victim of a murder or a horrific accident or whatever. But it used to be quite reassuring that it wasn't something that everyone could check out, you know, and we don't televise our court hearings, so any sort of autopsy photos that are shown on a TV screen won't accidentally be suddenly broadcast to Australia. So, I mean, that in itself, the fact that she got it, but the fact that she wasn't a decent enough human being to look at that and say, I can't believe I've been sent this stuff and I really need to let the court know it doesn't happen again. Wouldn't most decent people, would not that be your first thought? It would be mine. I mean, if I go down to the post office and pick up my mail and I get home and there's mail that belonged to somebody else and it's got the address and they live down here, I'll just drive to their address and pop it in their letterbox. And if they don't have one, I'll knock on the door. And if they're not home, I'll just leave it on the doorstep. I mean, that's how I feel about getting someone else's mail. I'll do that. Imagine getting a file with all of those photos, and instead of contacting the court and saying, this can't happen again, like I'm happy to delete them, but you need to check what you're sending out to people. That wasn't her first choice. Her first choice was, holy shit, I can make a video, put it behind a paywall on Patreon. And, then she made out, I put it behind the paywall because I thought it was safer and it wouldn't get out. If you thought it was safer and you wouldn't get out, then you should have put it behind like a $500 or $1,000 paywall. Like, don't get me wrong, sick fucks that want stuff will spend whatever money they've got to get access to that sort of stuff. But $3, like the week you did that, I found $2 in my gym car park, or the car park at the gym. Not hard to rustle up $3. And then she was saying, I could have put it in her apology. I could have put it on YouTube. I would have made a lot more money. No, you couldn't put it on YouTube. It wouldn't be allowed on YouTube. You liar. Yeah, autopsy photos, it's so sick. Yeah, well, we pretty much Australia, you've got to be next of kin. And even as next of kin, you've got to go through a lot of bureaucratic red tape and form filling and phone calls and stuff to get access to it. Yeah, that's right. She did use another YouTuber's video for the coroner audio. Correct. Oh, yeah, Diane's channel stuff. Yeah, just punch into the YouTube search bar when you want to watch a retro scandal medalarium. Type in Diane's channel, St. Jude's, and you get up to speed on that little doozy. Oh, my God, Asa, that's horrible. Yeah, no empathy at all. 9 members in 4 years, you poor thing. Well, unfortunately, I've got a lot in common. I mean, not so much family. Well, I've lost quite a few family members, including my parents. But, yeah, once you start hanging around here, you'll learn very quickly that there's usually someone that I'm cooking food for who's lost someone, or I'm delivering a gift to someone who's lost someone, or I'm visiting my brother like I did last week because their dog died. Like, there's always a bit of death happening around here, which is probably... Well, it's not why I'm more respectful. I'd be respectful whether I'd lost people or not. But when you have lost so many people and you picture any of their photos getting out there and having someone like Zav Girl scrutinizing them. Oh, blowing kisses, Mike McCormick. You're full of loves. It's a good wrap up. Yeah, we're not going to talk for much longer either. I don't even know if I need to do a part 2. My satanic mechanic. I want him to call. Yeah, I reckon they probably lost their job too, and rightly so. The $3 Mistress of Macabre. That's a great title for her. All right, we'll listen to a bit more. I just want to listen to enough for you to hear Juliet enabling her, because this is where I realize there's no point even... Like, if she did do a panel asking people to go up, I wouldn't even bother. There's no point. She has someone enabling her, and she also has the remnants of her true crime community enabling her as well. But if you get to hear Juliet and her enabling ways, you'll realize Zav Girl is a lost cause.
And there's a lot, like, for those of you who who have been around and maybe you just aren't online that much, you might have missed some of the craziness of it. And it definitely took a turn at a certain point where it just got, in my opinion, just ridiculous. And unfortunately,
Do you hear the enabling? Take a shot, everybody. This is water, by the way, but fuck it. Rubbish, ridiculous, over the top. All of that describes Zav, that person next to you up there.
This is something that comes with the internet, and it could happen to you. It could happen to someone else you care about.
Oh, and I love it how there's always these, both of them, someone you love, someone you cared about. You don't give a fuck about the victims and the people who cared about them at all, full stop. That's how you sum up Zav Girl. Doesn't give a fuck about the victims. The Kylie Rodney coverage that she did was so disgusting. I called her out on that too. And it was heartbreaking, actually. What she did to innocent Terrence Kelly, horrifying. Like, she has a history of this sort of shit going on. And how this Juliet girl's just, it's the crazy internet. It all got out of proportion. You've got Orsane down the bottom, a member of hers. It was blown way out of proportion, according to Orsane. No, it wasn't. Exactly the amount of outrage that it copped was warranted because it was fucked up.
And it's good to familiarize yourself with it because it definitely changed. Like the issue at the beginning wasn't even there anymore, and it just changed into something completely different.
No, the outrage continues. Go into any channel talking about this. Everyone is still horrified that Zav Girl put autopsy photos behind a paywall, autopsy photos of an 11-year-old murdered child, and pretty tortured, really. Like, yeah. No one's outrage has changed. I mean, well, we were further outraged with the Double Down community post. Then we had the Limpass apology that everyone was just like, what the fuck? And now this. So, yeah, actually the outrage has actually increased. But it's all due to the initial chain of events. And I'm still outraged that she even got given that shit. But the thing is, it was in her hands, and what she chose to do with it is why people are outraged. This isn't the internet and people blowing shit out of proportion. This is a community, and a broad community, because my God, people all over YouTube were talking about this, not just the true crime community. Mainstream media were covering it. It got covered in the UK. Like, it was international. And what, your little 20 mods and a few members and your girlfriend are all going, yeah, it got blown out of proportion. No, it didn't. No, it didn't. It was a community standing up and going, this went too far. It's fucked up. Take accountability for it. Apologize. Yes, you're going to lose a shitload of subscribers because people can see through your bullshit now, although why they haven't seen it prior to this, I don't know. Probably because there was a case that I was covering, the Cleo Smith one, and she covered it as well. And I'm like, it'd be interesting to hear an American's take on this. And I nearly died when I went in there and there's an innocent man's photo up on his screen. Yeah. Blaming everybody else. So Juliet's enabling and also deflecting. Awesome.
And just absolutely crazy. But I've never dealt with anything like that before. So it was an experience even for me. I know it was for you.
My eyes to a lot of things. Like, wow, like I feel like I learned a lot through all that. And
you do, and yet you came onto this first live back on YouTube after all of this stuff, after a broad community said you fucked up. You come back. This is your return to YouTube, and the two of you are giggling, going, what's been happening on YouTube in the last few weeks? Any juicy gossip? You haven't learned a thing. In fact, I think you've gone backwards. I think you're worse than when you gave your fake apology.
The reason I want to do a video is just to get the misinformation, because there's still stuff, like even Randy, I talked to Randy and he's asking me questions, like some of the questions I want to answer. And it's just like, no, like, that's not true. Or that's not true. Some of this stuff, it's like, it's misinformation going around about it.
Deflecting. It's not like I said, the little minute details about whether or not there were genitals visible, whether or not it was blurred, does not change a thing. It doesn't. And no one wants to hear you explaining any of that again. It's what you did. It's the stuff you actually did that there's evidence of that everyone's fucked off about. Who cares? I mean, Queen Bee's panel were talking about all kinds of shit that turned out to not be true. But is she a source of credible information to most people on YouTube? She's certainly not for me. There were rumors about, people making fun of his genitals. It was never proven that came from your Discord, so who cares? It's pretty fucked up if someone said it wherever they said it. But the actual facts, the stuff that we know, that we're outraged about, we don't need you going over all of the I didn't make fun of him and I didn't. Are you going to talk about how you compared his teeth from when he was alive to when he was deceased and imply that it may actually not be the same person? Did you do that? Did you zoom in on a photo going, what are those white stringy things? And they were maggots? Did you do that? Are you going to address that stuff too? Did that happen? Didn't it happen? I don't care either way. I care that you had photos of a dead child in your possession and you chose to put them out there. And my God, they are out there now. And your little $3 for security. No. Next. Denial. It's not just a river in Egypt.
And I'll take accountability for what I did, but I want it to be what I did and not like lies. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
not this blown
And I
out.
want the truth to be out there. And people are twisting things and they're just not telling it accurately. So
See, and this is just crapping on and on and on, and it's painful to listen to. Look at Humanimal. You've got to do a live about that, the Zav Girl channel takeover. You do that one, and I'll cover the should social media platforms be held liable for the irresponsible bullshit that their creators and subscribers are spreading as well. I'm going to have to end this. I'll just play a tiny bit more. I don't know if it gets worse. I'm sure it will.
oh, and nobody's saying a word about them.
Yeah.
I try to
Wait.
Oh, Juliet, do you mean like you?
Oh, that was her talking about. Look, guys, I'll drop the link. Oh no, find go to. Hang on. She was talking about how the other channels showed the autopsy photos, the ones that streamed the trial, and no one's having a go at them. I mean, this is so. Who the hell does she think she's addressing? 5-year-olds? Can't stand people that speak to us like we're all friggin' idiots. I can't stand the glare who mansplains fucking everything to his subs, and they all sit there lapping it up. And it's like, for God's sake, man, we all know what is going on in a courtroom. We don't need you to explain it. I'm going to drop Tragedy Pimps Exposed link because they've done a couple of videos. They've got Zav Girl's first day back. I wonder what was so funny. And then that's just a quick little clip. And then there's another one that she's done. Zav Girl is back. Is her apology null and void now? Excuses, blah, blah, blah. That goes for nearly 45 minutes. And that's her reacting to this stuff. So go there. If you want to watch a little bit more, I'd avoid watching Zav's channel because you're giving her views. Unfortunately, I just gave her one. Or a bit of a one, but that 44-minute video will get you up to speed on the bits that we haven't covered. But in a nutshell, just then, yeah, she was talking about the other channels that were streaming the trial, showing the same photos, and no one said a word about that. Well, actually, some people did, and some of the creators, and in the Glara's defense, he was one of them. When that happened, he actually took it down off his live. So did Grizzly True Crime, but others left it up. But that's their call if they're streaming court proceedings. It's part of it. But the other thing is that was said in this live is that she has information about Brian Enton and how he's a spreader of misinformation, including her story. And she's disappointed because he was always her source of information, credible information. But they're going to expose him because apparently he's not a very nice person. So that was a sweet little snort, Tor Pig. Tory Pig does whatever a Tory Pig does. Can she swing from a web? No, she can't. She's a pig. Look out. Here comes a Tory Pig. Well, Natasha sent a mod behind the paywall and paid for their own coinery. So, in a nutshell, how do you rate Zav's return to the YouTubes out of 10? Please put your scores into the chat. Hopefully the Russian judge is around and they can weigh in. Yeah. Great entertainment. Thanks, Mike. Come back. We have a good time here. Great community. And the chat are hilarious. The subs are like even when we're covering gloomy topics, we can still find laughter without taking the piss out of victims or their families and friends. We're clever like that. Minus 100. Yeah, but please do hit the thumbs up, Groovers, and a cheeky slap. Spank the pony. Humanimals, you're so happy that you finished work early. You've been quite raunchy. Minus 100 from Madelirium. Yeah, well, minus 10 from Mike. 5 zeros from Francesca. A 0. You can go minus. Lillian, big fat 0. We are Grouse Mouse. Thumbs up, you. Then thumbs up to you too. No one's even giving her a half out of 10. I feel like being a child like her and saying minus infinity plus 1. I bet you she says that to Juliet. I love you, infinity plus 1. Just give a score for the hell of it, Aza. You've seen enough to give them something. Oh, it's Jesus, where Natasha got her money from. Negative 144,000. She's got the moral compass and self-absorption of Laurie Vallow. Great summary there. Minus 1 million from Kylie. Let me just read. I just want to see the comments under this. Glad you're back. Oh, someone said, have you asked for the autopsy photos of Taylor's Shea Business's trial? How can you guys laugh? Juicy. Go Corylus. Great live. So happy you're back. Welcome back, Zav. I've worried about you. Glad to see you back, Zav. There's a former sub saying you should donate every penny you made to a victims fund for some sort of redemption. I'm really proud of Zav for coming back. And, of course, Zav is hearting all of the comments. Oh, my God, great to hear your voice got a love heart. All right, I'm going to end with Kathy P.S. Let's talk about everything. Oh, Kathy P.S. Let's talk about everything. After what you've done, girl, you and your sidekick go after Brian Enton will be another big mistake. Own it. You did it. You did it. You did wrong. Move on. No? Okay, I chose a bad one to end on. Going after a real reporter of true crime, you're just misinformation. You may end up getting sued. Lots of typos, but I'm so with you, Kathy P. Let's talk about everything. And, yeah, if she does get sued, bring it on. Because that's what it's going to take to change stuff. And Faithful, did you just get here when I'm about to leave? We were giving a score on Zav's return to YouTube. And then I need to call my mechanic because I'm starting to get very anxious about how the fuck I'm going to get to town tomorrow. Could be a very expensive taxi ride. Well, she's left some pretty negative ones up under her live that we just watched, but as usual, she's only hearted the ones that are disagreeing, that are agreeing and happy to see her back. I heart everyone on mine. I love that people have made the effort to comment under one of my videos, be it positive or negative. Negative, bring it on. I have much fun responding to the negatives with smart-ass comments. Unfortunately, before this laptop, my laptop that blew up, I had quite a library of RC one-liners from me to pricks in my comments section. And sadly, when my computer and hard drive in it blew up, I lost the lot. But I'm sure there'll be more. Good luck with the car. Yeah, I'm going to have to try and ring in a favour from someone. I don't know how or what. But even my neighbour, who normally works at home on a Thursday, is not here today, which means she'll be working from home tomorrow. So, yeah. But Groovers, I loves you. I really do. You're fun. You're reasonable. We all have different opinions. We're as diverse as Australia. And yet we all hang out and have a good time. Look at me trying to do like some sort of nice little sign-off. I just can't do it. I mean, I can. Because you do rock, all of you. But until next time, don't get hit by, don't get struck by a smooth criminal. See you again very soon.
DJ Gorbachev.
So she ran into the bedroom, she was struck down, it was her doom. You okay, so you okay, are you okay, Annie? You okay, so Annie, you okay, are you okay, Annie? You okay, so Annie, you okay, are you okay, Annie? You okay, so Annie, you okay, are you okay, Annie? Are you okay, will you tell us that you okay? That the sound of the wind, that it's not you, I can send no Annie. Take it to your heart, to the bus face, I'm a confident. You've been hit by, you've been hit by a smooth